I just discovered there is the GRENKE Chess 2024. And the good stuff is that Magnus plays now. And he plays Richer Report. So, let's have a look at this one. Also, there is going to be round number 2 happening like 40 minutes from now, I guess, if I read that one correctly. So guys, feel free to type in your best moves here that you reckon they might be playing. So 2 games happen as of now. Daniel Friedman playing for Germany versus Vincent Keimer and Magnus Richard. And they drew Ding and MVL drew. Okay, so welcome back, Ding. It's good to do this. I mean, it's good not to lose, especially when you're the World Chess Champion, the current World Chess Champion. So it's good to getting a little bit of confidence back. It's good. Okay. No engine being used for the current live games. First thing, let me see if sound should be okay here. Sound should be okay. Yeah, everything looks fine at my end. And I guess we should be streaming now on 5 platforms simultaneously. And maybe tomorrow on Twitch. Maybe. Okay, so Richard being white, Magnus playing with blacks. Beautiful, beautiful ending. I don't know what's the format. I didn't even read the format or anything. I'm just watching them playing now. Okay, so I've got a message from this guy. Need to convince school. Okay, I don't know about ESCO. Let me just turn it. There's a message popping up on my screen via WhatsApp. Okay, so where were we? Are we streaming first thing? I mean, it's possible to talk to the walls and not even being aware that you talk by yourself. It's possible. Okay. Beautiful bishop here. I can't just but admire this bishop. So Richard goes very seriously upwards with the pawn. You would like to get a rook on the h, right? So I guess you could maybe play something like bishop g3, bishop g3, king g2, rook h1 in an attempt to try open up things. This guy can't move down because if they move down, the pawn on d5 would be captured. So I guess they can't really do this. I guess they can't do this. So yeah, that looks absolutely fine. They want to reroute the knight. Magnus wants to get the knight on c6 for sure, hitting rook and this guy here. But Richard goes for attacking first, namely the rook on f8 with the bishop. He's really hitting hard now. Rook either goes f7 or they go g or h. Which one's gonna be exactly? We are going to find out very soon. Very soon. And I guess after rook moves, you could play something like b4. And after knight c6, you move the rook maybe here or something. Okay, so rook g8 as we said. Is it b4 and after knight c6 you play rook d3 or something? Maybe. Maybe, guys. Perhaps. I mean, it's a possibility. If you have more time, like in our position here, Richard Paul looks like his... Oh, he played differently. He actually stops the knight on c6 by playing rook b4, which is, if you grab this guy, I'm going to take here. But then they're going to grab here. That's exactly. So I guess now you gotta go for the b7, right? Okay, he went for the b7, knight a5. If you do this, they're gonna play this. If you play rook a7, they're gonna play rook a8, right? So what do you play? Do you play maybe this? On the other hand, if the black rook on e8 goes away, the e6 pawn is available for attack. And there is also maybe this idea, all sorts of stuff. This. But definitely if rook goes away, e6 is takeable. So maybe in this fashion. Or maybe this. Oops. Or maybe this. Huh. Interesting. Let's find out. Let's find out. Rook b6 would be cool, so to speak, because it just puts a lot of pressure here and attacks this guy and all the 6 line. Maybe if you are to consider g5, if those pawns would be disappearing at some point, maybe there's a lot of pressure on the 6 rank. Apologies. Maybe. Okay. Okay. CPU uses 6%. That's good. That's good. Let me just visit now a couple of things here. That is, the Facebook is fine here at my end. Let me look at YouTube. YouTube, that's fine as well. And I guess kick.com is okay too. All right. So again, there will be round number 2 in the GRENKE. How do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce it? A5. Oh, anyway, rook is being attacked, so rook b7 has to go now. They have to play somewhere. As we had highlighted, it could be b6, it could be a7. Could be b6, a7. I don't know what else. What is Richard considering here? What's the stuff? You don't know where to get the rook? I mean, is he considering other moves than b6 and a7? Anyway, it's interesting to see that this incredibly strong grandmasters give their time. Even if we average chess players would be doing almost instantaneously something like rook b6, rook a7, they actually give some time before they move. I mean, maybe he's considering some other squares. What I do appreciate positively about b6 and a7 is because I want to target that pawn on a6. Every pawn matters. Nice stuff about the bishop here is that it stops any rook on b8, so that's good. It's actually good. If there's any sense of urgency, they might be dropping on a3. And g5 is always available. And king is very keen to moving. 2, 3, 5, 4, 1, okay. I think white a little bit calls the shots here. I think white has initiative. White is attacking a bit more here. White is doing the attack more than black. So I'd rather have white pieces here than blacks, because just seems to be a bit better for white. The prospect of a rook from the E file over to the H with the idea of G5 would be also very, very attractive, and it's good a bit better for white. It doesn't mean that black doesn't have resources to play, but it seems that it defends more in this position here. And I'm very happy they're going to be a second round today. And then we're going to have some time to be reading the format and stuff. Let me try read the format. Maybe I can find it. I'm going to have a look at... Right, so what did he play? Rook b7, knight a5, rook d7, knight c4, d3, hitting the knight. Hitting the knight. There's no one here to attack, so you don't wanna get there, I guess. It might be trapped, the knight. But anyway, it's dangerous. At any rate, it's dangerous. Hitting here. He got a null post, but then again, do you move b3 to b4? Do you think that makes sense? If you do this, you give black another outpost on c4, though. So those guys, and also there is a, sorry, apologies guys, there is a fork coming here on f3, so you got to think of that one. Okay, this is getting weird now. You gotta stop the fork. Or maybe, okay, what exactly? Oh, hello there, Lisa. You came for chess? So, okay, there is a f3 knight fork, and that can't be allowed to happen. So I guess maybe Richard miscalculated something? Or maybe not. Okay, so if this guy takes here and rook b2, they're gonna go here. And if you attack again, it's a lot to calculate. And then you're gonna jump on c5, right? And then you're gonna jump on c5. Well, let's see. I'm not buying anything, Lisa. If you came for chess, you're welcome. If you're coming to selling stuff, I'm not gonna buy anything. Thank you. Oh boy. Right. Definitely more coffee or tea needed. But anyway, just a few minutes from... Oh, seconds. 25 seconds and less now for Magnus here. Okay, he plans on coming on c5, doing this little dance. So if... Okay. Oh boy, e6 is hittable now, and the rook can't trade because there is a bishop. And I think Richard actually wanted to do this stuff. You can't say that ain't a bit dippish. It's very nice. It's really nice. So if he does this now, we're going to have this. Yeah, this is just looking so... I don't know what the king does, but definitely I think you can take this guy now. Right? I guess you can. And then maybe if you're really into attacking, maybe g5. Although, yeah, I don't know what to say. Definitely not easy. They do take their time and they calculate as much as they can. Problem for Magnus is that he's on 19 seconds and Richard like 4 minutes and something, like 30 seconds. Then soon less than 30 seconds. Okay. So e6 is up for grabs. Question is, would you personally, guys, take that e6 pawn or go for something else, a different route, a different way to attacking, deploying that white rook? That's the question. He wants to make sure he gets the right approach. I still think white is doing slightly better. Well, you are supposed to take on e6 now, right? I guess you're supposed to take on e6. It's very important. Only just because you put the rook on the 6th and that's where the king is. And I guess that's quite good. So from this point of view, I think that's absolutely the case. And yeah, if you disagree or something, just let me know, guys. If you think there is a better square for the rook to go to. Yep. King f1. Now that is slightly unexpected. King f1 because he wants to move away from the g file. Is that the reason behind King f1? Just asking for a friend. I'm genuinely curious about this. Oh. Now, if you want to get this guy for sure, you just play the rook. You just play a rook. He didn't. I mean, he did play the rook, but he didn't play a2. He played b6. Okay, you're going to take on a6. King is still here. Therefore, this one is still applicable. Probably. Probably. So, I guess the reason behind rook g1 to f1 is that Richard wanted to move away the king from the g file where the black rook is. I mean, I think that makes sense. And also, right, Hoki goes for the trading now. Would you play rook d7, a7? Because that's what I'm considering, just first idea that I'm considering is this. And then if my bishop is being hit, probably bishop b4. You can't have them all. Now the rook is being attacked. Could you do something else? I don't know. I mean, I love having the rook here, but can you just keep it doing like rook e6 or something? Not sure. Rook e6. I really don't know. d5 is hanging on the other hand. That's good too. Can you take the rook and then grab on d5? But the game is far from over. I don't know. 4 versus 4 black pawns, and Magnus tries to create counter game and getting those pieces activated and hitting. And actually getting to do something, because you can't keep your pieces too much in a state of dormancy. Is there such a word? Dormant, I know it is, but dormancy? I don't know. If it isn't, we can create it. And if it exists, it already exists. It doesn't even... What is y gonna play? Took. Okay, and I reckon after black rook takes on a8, he's gonna grab the d5. Exactly right. If there's any issue about this guy, he's gonna playing this. And yeah, just play this. Now, it depends what black plays. I mean, I guess black would be interested in just checking, and then you can just play g here. Then you gotta be careful about rook here and then knight here. You really have to think about... Yeah, that's exactly. Now, do you do this? Because if this, then it's this, and it's kind of cool. I mean, you want to open up as many things as possible, right? I mean, if you want to attack something, probably you got to think of g5. Probably. What's this message? Oh, I don't know. Christina. I don't know. Don't matter. Okay, so if white wants to attack here, probably g5. But then again, this is complicated. Time is getting low. So you don't have the luxury of deeply thinking and being very happy with all the information. So yeah, he opts for this. That is, if there is a check, a new move, and rook goes back, this thing doesn't work because bishop plays and checks and stuff. Okay, there's a way to play. This guy being hit, you're going to do this or that. I mean, you got two big options here, and these are the only options you've got. I don't think you exactly. I mean, when it's limited, and oh, wow, 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 wow! That is a blunder Magnus played. He will resign now, Magnus. I think he's fuming. That was such a tactical. Oh my day. That was such a tactical blunder from. Sorry, bloody hell! I didn't even see that stuff. But Richard saw it. Richard saw it. Oh my days! Rook takes a bishop, forks everything. I'm going to tell you something. In the time issue, even the best of the best are prone to making blunders, which has just been proved right now. The other two games finished draws, but this one finished with Richard's victory. A nice little tactic at the end. I'm gonna roll down a couple of moves and actually make sure. Again, I think White is slightly better. Yeah. It's a dead draw. It's a freaking dead draw. You can't get more drawish than this. But I guess 14 seconds is not too much, not even for Magnus. He fought very hard. This game could have continued and very decently played, and Black was a little bit relieved. But the blunder, the blunder, the blunder, the blunder, the blunder. Oh man. Ooh. And Richard just straight away, bang. My God, those bloody tactics. Blunder move number 41. So as I said, guys, good news is that round number 2 will happen. Let me do a very quick. Can I do computer analysis of this stuff? I mean, I want to have a picture of the accuracy and stuff. I think it was round 1 had finished. Okay. Round number 2, 14 minutes from now. And in the round number 2, we are going to see Richard Black, Dingley Ren White. I mean, old games are fabulous. You're going to see Daniel, I don't know that guy, Daniel White, Magnus Carlsen Black, and MVL Black and Vincent Keimer White. They're all superb games. I mean, we're just going to look at all of them. We're going to take them one by one. We're going to look at all of them. Classic, GRENKE, how do you pronounce it? I don't know. GRENKE or GRENKE? Just 2024. Okie dokie. 14 minutes. I think in the meantime we can do a quick puzzle or something. We can do a quick puzzle and then we're going to be going back to these fabulous games. This nice games here. Okay, what's the freaking format here? How do they overview? Wait a sec. I just want to... The game is a 6-player double held. They got 45 minutes for the entire game with a 10-second increment from move number 1. That is cool. It's a compromise. It is a compromise in between classical and rapid. It's in between. So you can't say it's too short and you're going to play Crazy Bullet and heck knows what you're doing. And it's not a very soporific format with Magnus Carlsen dying of boredom and falling asleep whilst playing. So Magnus is not going to fall asleep whilst playing, right? We hope so. I mean, he might be blundering like he just did. Yeah, and they play in Germany. Okay. And yeah, okay, cool stuff. 45 minutes and 10 seconds from Moon. Okay, that's good. That is absolutely good. Leaderboard, Richard first, Dig Duran. Oh, again, by the way, 6-player double round robin. So they be playing twice the same guy. I mean, you play the same guy with different colors. Held from 26th to the 1st of April. That would be a proper hammering. So round 2 happening in 11 minutes. Then tomorrow being Wednesday. 2 rounds. Thursday 2, and Friday 2, and Saturday 2, and Sunday the tiebreaker be as well. So round number 2, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Almost 4 p.m. We're definitely gonna do it. If you're rooting for someone, guys, let me know. If you're rooting for someone, let me know. And of course, guys, feel free to type in your candidate moves as we witnessing the games. I think it's a very good way for improving our own thinking and trying to reconstruct the thinking process of a super grandmaster. They all are very strong grandmasters, and many are considering Magnus still the best. Oh, where is the board spirit? Still the best chess player on the planet now. So that's good. So let's do a puzzle, and then we're gonna go back to round number 2 of the GRENKE Classic. 10 minutes, they say. Okay, let's go for a puzzle, folks. Let's go for a puzzle. Maybe we're gonna go for a beverage, and then we're gonna be coming back. All right, find the best move for black here. Looks to me, if I'm not wrong, I could be wrong. It could be, that's a check that forces the queen straight. So that's a check. And a fork. The queen takes, and the question is, you take with a pawn or you take with a king? If you take with the king, it could be a check. And then you're going to move again. And it don't matter if they take this guy because you're going to push the pawn. And I think you're going to promote. If queen plays, queen takes, and you take with the pawn, the problem is they're going to get in front of you. They will. But there's also another guy here. So actually the whole puzzle presents itself just two main things. You are going to play this, I reckon. I don't think, is there something else? Okay, I didn't even consider, but we do have some 2 other moves as well here. But is it really? If there is a check or something, what's the deal? There's no deal. There's nothing. No, there's absolutely nothing. Okay, let's get this guys out of the... Ooh. Oof. Crazy, strange people. We need to not allowing the trolls to be joining all the... and spamming and stuff. I think I took that guy out. Okay, cool. So, back to this. We might have a check. Attacking the queen. Okay, I'm going to do it because I don't think there's anything else better than this. And now, again, we're reverting back to the same thing. Do we take with a king or do we take with a pawn? I'd like to keep these guys connected, just to be telling you honestly here, guys. In principle, I'd like to keep this pawn connected, so I might be just taking. And if they check, I'm gonna move here, right? And if they play this, I'm just gonna push this guy, and I don't care if they take a... So I think I'm gonna take with a king. Please tell me that's true. Okay, cool. Still gonna be a sort of a check here, you see. Can we push this guy or do we push the other pawn? Now that's a good question here. If I push this one, they're still gonna go check. Gonna go here. Yeah, if they go here, can I just move here? I mean, what's the problem? So as I'm contemplating it, looks like I can play C3. Looks like I can play C3. Looks like C3 is playable. Now, heck, I don't know for sure. I think I should be okay, right? There's no point to... Should I move the king? Like, should I move the king here? So let's say they play this, and then I'm playing this. Yeah, but then they can play this. Is there any difference? Is this the... No, I'm playing. Huh. Um, it looks like it's winnable on both scenarios, so probably pushing the pawn. On the other hand, I mean, looks like both this and that is they both winning, but one is not getting the king checked on f4. The other one is getting checked, but you're still going to push the king. So looks like there is a move order here, and I don't know if pawn should go first or king should go in front of the pawn. Now, you don't want to put the king in front of the pawn, but you will regardless because knight f4. You will. Now, if it's something like b4, I didn't even consider that one. I mean, it could be. It could be. The first instinct and the plan, the initial plan would tell me that c3 actually is the right one. I mean, they do this, then you do... Now, you got to play the king. Okay, I've reconsidered. You got to play the king because you push this guy here, but then they're not going to check you. They're going to play this. And yeah, you're going to play this, but it takes long. Then they're going to check you. And then you can't get in front of your pawn. I think I just got it now. I've got this whole philosophy comprised in the end, but it took me some time. So you don't push the pawn c3 because they're going to play king d1. You are going to play king d2, claiming the promotion square, blocking the white king from moving closer to your pawns. I mean, they can't even move. And you're moving away from any checking coming from the white knight on f4. So you're going to play king to c2, cutting off the white king completely, supporting your own black pawns to moving down, especially the b pawn, that is. Especially the b pawn. And I think you should be okay. I can't find anything better than this. And if the knight is getting really greedy, it's just not enough time for the white pawn on the g file to moving down and promote, because you're going to do it before them. So it looks to me that king to c2 is the correct move. And I'm just going to play it. And then I'm going to go back and see if Magnus and Richard Report and Ding Liren and Vincent Keimer started the second round here. Please tell me that's correct. Yes. Finally, I got this one right. Okay, what have we got here? This guy might want to go after the pawn, but really no one cares. No one really cares about this because you got two passes here and they'll be reaching before the white pawn. Again, the question is, do you move the king one more time? Or do you or you just simply move this guy down? I'd be tempted to say, as long as the black king stops the white king approaching, probably I should be pushing b4. I should push b4. I don't see how the white knight can stop me. It's already gone. Well, they could like check and stuff, but I'm just gonna, you know. So I say, let's waste no more time, fellas, and go with b5 to b4. And yeah, I mean, it's unstoppable, right? Please tell me that's correct. Yes. Okay. We managed to do a puzzle together correctly, guys. Now, I think we might need to do another puzzle. I don't know if Magnus actually and Richard started the games. Starts in 2 minutes, guys. Starts in 2 minutes. I'm not going to play now too many games, people, because I want to see Magnus Carlsen and Richard Report. I don't think anyone can play better than these guys right now. So that's Daniel Friedman. I don't know. I haven't heard of them. So Daniel Friedman, white, Magnus Carlsen, black. And as you can read yourselves too, we've got... I'm talking about round number 2, which is about to start in 1 minute. MVL with Vincent Keimer and Ding Liren Richard Report here. So that is cool. We're going to look at all of them. I mean, I want to just watch all the games, really. and Ding Liren, who drew previously. Ding Liren, you can see the fixtures, you can see the pairings on the left hand side, and that's cool. 45 minutes per game, guys, with 10 seconds increment starting with the first move. So it's a compromise in between the rapid and classical chess, as we said, so that Magnus doesn't die of boredom, or there is a danger he might just fall asleep. So that's why they made a compromise now, so that they keep Magnus happy. So which is good. It's fine. And okay, come on, guys, let's move these pieces. You know something? We might need to do another puzzle because I'm not sure they're going to be starting quite on time. And anyway, I need another beverage, that's for sure. I need another tea, that's for sure. So that was round number 1. So Vincent drew Daniel, Ding Liren drew MVL, and Magnus lost with a blunder. He did a blunder. So guys, you're gonna start or what? Round number 2 right now. Yeah, well, right now, but it's not quite right now. It's not really right now. It might be a few minutes. Order update. Orders being posted. Full stuff. Okay. Come on, people. Should we do another puzzle? I mean, these guys are definitely not quite playing now. Yeah, we could do another puzzle if we want. What do you think Ding Liren's going to play? Is he going to play King's Gambit? That would be interesting. I seriously doubt. I think of all openings in the world, Ding Liren is not going to play King's Gambit. Although if he did, that would be the most shocking thing in the chess world. If Ding Liren were to play King's Gambit, that would be just something. I think Richard Report's going to have a shock, and he's going to look at the board in disbelief. So everyone had okay, we start. Yeah, that was just a bit too much that was just a bit too much to play King's Gambit. You can't do this, right? Only Nakamura played this against who was that guy he played against? Another split GM. I forgotten his name, but Nakamura played the King's Gambit on a few occasions as Jan Iponici. All right. D4, knight f6, c4, e6. We could see a semi-Slav here. We could see a Catalan. Heck, we could see a couple more things. Yeah, going for a Catalan. Let's see. Okay. C5, D5. Takes and takes. More like a banana. Knight C3. I guess you can play. Okay, bishop G2, of course. Bishop G7 is going to happen. Knight F3. Okay, these are... Knight F3. Okay, castle could be a thing. Bishop F5, Bishop G4, castle. Which one is it? You may want to get a bishop first and then knight. Yes. Rook. Okay. Never a bad thing. Get a rook on open file. Rook on open file, never a bad thing. So that's just preventing e4. So rook to e8 does not allow white to play this. You can still play it if you do first this. This one doesn't really work, I guess, because of this. Because of bishop f5. So you have to play rook e1 by the looks of it. And there is also the bishop here. Let's just highlight the bishop here. That may want to make a pin. That's also to be considered. It's getting a bit positional here. 5. The black knight, probably either knight a6, knight c7, but then again, it's not that great. It's not that great, that knight. It's just not. It's not. It's a little bit cramped here. Black is a little bit cramped here. So that's what it is for the time being. So yeah, we're going to be watching this one, guys, for a while here. Of course, depends on your presence as well, but I'm going to stay a couple more minutes here. Hopefully, we're going to get more friends with us shortly, if that's possible. So these are the ideas. What is Dinglerin thinking at? Is there something wrong with the rookie one? Or also, from Black's perspective, I'm not necessarily a player for this, but I guess he might be a6, b5. Could be some way to be extending on a queen side, expanding. You still have to develop your pieces. So yeah, these are, I think, the main ideas here. There's quite a few things you need to consider. Probably rookie one. What else can it be? What else? What else? What else? What else? Okay, so shall we look at other games? I mean, we just got 2 more games, so let's look at those too. Okay. Daniel Friedman white, Magnus black. I hope Magnus is not tilting after that blunder he played against Richard Report. If they take, you take back with what? With queen or pawn? So that's a genuine question. If this guy takes, if you want to preserve the pawn structure, you will take with the queen. If you want to open up the A, and if you think it's worth it, you may take with A. If that's safe enough. You may want to play this one too at some point. I think probably you should take this guy. Yes, you should take that knight for sure. Now, is black going to take like this or like this? I think it's going to take with the D pawn. D pawn is going to take. Yeah, you have to take with the D. Took with the B, but that would be subjecting to some possible attacks like this. I mean, okay. And from white's point of view, I guess you can always play. If you don't like the queen b3, you could just do. You got to be careful, this and this. If you got some time. Okay. Or maybe just this to make sure you just put a stopper to this guy and. Or maybe queen c2. Maybe queen b3, then queen c2. You see, there is so many things going on. So that's just move 11. And I'm pretty sure they did the homework and they can play whatever they want. But they still take their time and think, you see. It's very many possibilities here. Very many possibilities. Alrighty. Well, let's go to the third game. Vincent Keimer and MVL. E4, D4, C4, DC4, Queen's Gambit accepted. 45, knight f3, bishop b4. And that's what it is. Castles. I guess you want to do something. I guess you want to do something with the knight. Right? You want to do something with the knight. And I guess he's thinking, bloody hell, if I play this, the guy's going to push. It could be. It could be. Therefore, wisely enough, he decided to do knight g8, e7. And that makes sense because you don't want to be harassed with the pawn. And black is ready to castle their king. This one comes with a caveat after this. Although I have a check and stuff, so probably after all, queen b3 is playable. But there is also attractive the idea to play knight and get rid of this guy. For sure. That's a thing you may want to do. By the way, did they actually play this? Knight g e7? Hold on a second. Let me refresh the page. No, yeah. Yeah. He did play. Knight g e7. He did play. Okay. Now, you want to take that black pawn for sure. So knight b3 will make sure that you actually do capture that pawn. Is there something else? I'm not sure. You want to make a pin? I guess you can. As a means to demote the black bishop to play g4. I mean, if you play this, will you make them to play bishop d7? Hard to say. Hard to say. I mean, they just castle. So if bishop here, you're moving twice, the same piece in the opening. I don't think that's a wise stuff to do. We don't want to play twice the same piece in the opening. We want to keep developing, creating chances, posing threats, etc. So I don't think you want to play bishop b5. Because they're going to castle and there's going to be no more pin. So what's the deal? Again, knight b3, I guess. Knight b3, I guess, makes a lot of sense. You do it now and then you don't take the pawn, and I think it's good. In principle. Or if you're really annoyed by the prospect of bishop g4, if you're really concerned, let's say, although queen c2 might be just solving it, but anyway, if you still got a problem with this, maybe h3. That is like prophylactically being played. I don't know what's the theory saying to play now because I'm not doing this, but h3 feels like, although mild and prophylactic, but you may want to not get pinned. Yeah. You know, there's no point to play this knight g5 because they're gonna castle. Or maybe you play knight g5, they castle and do queen h5. Interesting. Interesting. It is. So you gotta sit down and actually think it. I don't know. Is there a crazy sideline here for white? Can you do this? Yeah, definitely needing another tea or coffee here. Okay, so knight g5 castles, queen h5. Oh. Knight g5, it's a sort of forcing move because they have to castle. Black has to castle, right? And when they castle, you could get queen h5. Then they could play g6 or h6. Probably h6, but then, you know something? You're attacking like 3 times f7. Sorry, is this something? I would give it 5 more minutes if I were Vincent Keimer. I would give it 5 more minutes. Maybe. Well, boo to you back. What do you think about knight g5? If you came for chess. What do you think about knight g5? Your honest opinion on this. Okay. Sometimes I might be. Sometimes I definitely blunder, like Magnus blundered in the previous game where he just simply dropped a full piece. Did you see the blunder that Magnus did the previous game? Yeah, there was a tactical situation here, and the problem was that Magnus was like with 10 seconds on the clock or 13 seconds, and he blundered a full piece. He played like knight d2. Well, we're gonna go back to that game at some point, but not quite right now. But he blundered the piece. So even the number one, well, not officially the number one, but many considers he's still the best player on the planet, backed by numerous victories he had in all the tournaments and all the formats. So yeah. Right. So to my understanding, I think White. I think actually Vincent does consider this thing here. What I like about knight g5 is that they already double hit the f7. That forces black to do something in regards to this defense. This is serious. So probably they will have to castle, and then there is queen h5. That's a lot of pressure. And then there is a checkmate threat on h7. And if there is an h6, looks to me you're attacking 3 ties f7. And then blind me, you could like play bishop f7, check, bishop h7, check. Then king has to go, and then you can play bishop to b3. I mean, there is some ideas here. If I'm not wrong, there could be some ideas about this one. Well, that's a stream about chess. So if you really uh, love the game of chess, then you came at the right stream. Let's look at Richard Report and the current world chess champion, Ding Liren. Right, so they played a couple of moves. Let me just roll back, scroll down to some of the stuff. So we were here. No, we weren't here. We were here with bishop d7. Bishop f4 developing. Queen c7. h3. Huh. Was he concerned about this kind of stuff? Or does he want to do something else? It's not. I'm not sure. Rook b8 to probably be pushing b5 and to having two defenders for the b5 square. So rook b8 for pushing b5. e4, knight hits the bishop. I think it's just being played right now. I guess you want to move the bishop for sure. Or maybe here. Or maybe you want to play bishop g5. I seriously doubt black's going to push one more time. Because they're weakening the kingside area. So I don't think they're going to push h6. Because there is also queen d2 afterwards. And then you got a massive weakness here. So it's going to be bishop what? Bishop d2 or bishop e3? That's a good question. If you do bishop e3, you need to pay heed to knight f6. And bishop e3 just stops the rook defending. So that's another thing. And also, if you play bishop e3, this bishop might take in principle. Maybe. So after all, maybe bishop d2. And if you want to make a battery, you can play queen c1, right? Maybe. It's an idea. It's a possibility. I think I would go bishop g5 first. I think I'd go... Sorry, that's not what he played, right? Right, so I think I would play bishop g5. If black wants to weakness furthermore the king side, if they're free to do so. And if there is any h6, I guess you could play bishop d2 with the planning of queen c1, double attack on h6. So I guess, yeah. I think it makes sense. And then you're gonna take it from there. Then we'll see. I think it's quite a good stuff. So I doubt if bishop g5, Richard is gonna push h7 to h6. I don't think you're gonna do that. I don't think. But then again, anything's possible with these guys. But I'm not very optimistic about h6. I don't think that's gonna happen. It's too much of a weakening. Way too much of a weakening. Let me give a shout to those guys. Right, so back now. All right, what is Ding Liren gonna do? It's. I think I like this game that he's playing right now. I think I like it. It's kind of like positional. It's not highly tactical. It's just positional. The only player in between the two that can bring some tactics in, I think, is just Richard. He's the tactician. He's the tactical player. He is the most tactical player in between the two. Ding Liren, I think, is very positional. He wants to keep everything under control as much as possible. So yeah, Bishop G5. Okay, Bishop G5 is my shot, but then again, don't tell me you're actually willing to give that guy away. Is Queen D2 playable? It is, but... Okay, that's interesting. Okay, that's another candidate move. My take would be probably Bishop G5, but then Queen D2 could be done. Queen D2, you give your beautiful bishop for this peripheral knight. Knight takes, queen takes. Okay, maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't do that. Probably it's not losing or anything. It's one of those moves, maybe the third or the fourth line of the engine. I don't know because I didn't ask the engine and I won't during the live games. But anyway, I guess it's playable. Let's go and watch some other games here. So now we're seeing Richard and Ding Liren. Magnus again with the other guy, Daniel Friedman. Okay. What did he play here? Let me just go a couple of moves back. Okay, I think we were somewhere here. They played a couple of moves in between. E4, solidifying the center. F5, trying to open up the F file. B4, attacking on the queen side. Bishop attacks C4. I guess you gotta push, right? Oh, he didn't. Do you know what I would play here? 99.99. I would play this. So if I had this position with white, I think I wouldn't even spend too many seconds, which is a bad thing to say that and to do this. I think I would just simply play b5 here. Out of panic or something. I wouldn't play queen d3. But maybe that's for the better. The guy plays queen d3, defending the pawn with the queen. One step closer to connecting the rooks. Okay, maybe. You know. And Magnus plays bishop c8. The reason would be probably amongst others to what? Pushing a5? Because, blimey, I don't see another reason for bishop c8. If you guys see another reason, please do tell me. But I think bishop a6 to bishop c8, being dropped here, wants to say I want to be able to pushing the a7 to a5 and disrupt a little bit this guy here and the pawn structure altogether. So, yeah, okay. This one still can happen, but then I can push b5 if I really want to be mean. And then I'm going to go and c3, and heck, it looks like everything's closed. Okay. Okay. Fine. So you don't want to take here, really, because you give them a lot of power. You want to do something with this bishop, but I don't know what. Probably here. You want to connect the rooks. Get the rook on the b file. I don't know which one, how, and what move order, but generally speaking, you want to play that bishop too. But let's see what Magnus is cooking here. What's he want to do? By the way, the format is, guys, 45 minutes and 10 seconds increment. That is the format today in the GRENKE Open Classical. What's the name for this? Open or something. Okay, cool. Knight, more pressure adding to e4. That is 2. Do you play knight c3? I think I would play knight c3 now. Reason being, if they take, I don't want to take with a bishop and then to take and then queen take and then bishop f5. So I would play knight c3. Then if they take here, I'm going to take this. I could do a pin. So I don't know, would you do a pin or do you play knight c3? That's a good question. Because I don't like having the knights on the rim, probably I'm going to play this. But there's another idea. If you play bishop g5... Oh, he didn't. None of these two. I wonder if the engine would give knight c3 or bishop g5 as an option. We could check afterwards. But anyway, he opted for f3. He opted for f3. Okay. On the other hand, the knight is happy to attacking, I think, twice here. But that's another thing for Magnus to consider now. Looks like if pawn takes, pawn's gonna take, and you're enjoying the f-file as well. I don't know why, but I'm starting to liking whites a little bit more here. I'm thinking maybe Magnus is getting slightly frustrated now. There is this, and that's serious. You don't necessarily want to play h6 because you're weakening the king side for black. So I think h6 is to be discarded, right? Maybe. Maybe you play h6 and then g5? I mean, f5 is sort of hanging, so probably not in this order. Also, there is the c5 pressure. I mean, you can't just dismiss this. You can't just dismiss it. Okay, so what is black supposed to do? You probably take, right? So I reckon white... I guess black should take on b4, and then you take, and that's what it is. It is what it is. And then get this guy b7 or a6 back? Hard to say. Maybe this? Maybe bishop d7, you attack the knight after all. And then knight's gonna play c3 anyway. Well, I guess it's gotta be done this way. Or maybe another way. And I'm not aware of. It could be. So people, I can read your messages on YouTube, Facebook, and Kick.com, but if you type in on LinkedIn, I can't see nothing on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a problem with the messaging or something during the stream. I don't know if it's LinkedIn or Restream software. I don't know which one's which. It could be one of them, it could be both, I don't know. But probably just LinkedIn. So if you guys message me on LinkedIn, I cannot see the message now. So you may want to go on YouTube, Facebook, or Kick.com. If you want to communicate, that's fine. So what is Magnus going to play? He's on 35 minutes now. Very much, pretty much similar as the other player. And yeah, I've highlighted, I think, the moves that black should consider here. You can see them on green now. Bishop d7. Pawn takes, I guess. I guess you can't play bishop a6 because you're going to lose this guy here. So it's got to be bishop d7, attacking this guy with tempo. Or it's got to be pawn take. Or you play the painful knight d7. The painful because I just don't like it. Knight d7. But maybe it's the correct one. You have to do something about c5. You can't let white take because you're going to lose the game. You're going to lose a pawn. You're going to lose the game. That's how it goes at this level. Yeah. So I think Magnus is slightly frustrated here. I'm not sure he's keen on opening the f-file now. f5 takes c4. f3 takes. I'm not sure he's very happy about that idea. Okay, we'll see. Feel free, guys, to type in your suggestions if you think you've noticed something interesting, especially if I missed it. Please do it because you guys see more than me. And it's good. Okay, so that is Daniel Friedman and Magnus Carlsen. And we can go back to Richard Rapport Ding Liren. I think it's only 3 games, and I think we can visit them all one after another. Let's go for this. Let's go for Ding Liren, Richard Rapport. What did happen here? When we were here last time, we were here. Bishop e3. Yeah, I did mention that. I mean, you didn't have too many options anyway. You had bishop e3, bishop g5, bishop d2, bishop c1. Heck, you've got 4 candidate moves, including queen d2. But he opted for bishop e3. Knight went back. And bishop f4. What? Well, Dingley Rand can play that, right? Because I mean, one just asks here, oh, they drew already. Blimey, they drew. Jesus. They didn't want to push anything. I mean, after knight, oh, I just noticed they drew. Gee. Okay, so knight e. Can't you play bishop g5? Now it's time to ask the engine. Really, I want to know. Bishop d2, I did mention. Bishop g5, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here it is, the second line of the engine. I did say bishop g5, and I did say bishop d2, because I want to make a battery with the white queen. That is why I said bishop g5. Yeah, it's not bad at all, and also would be very unwise from black to push h6 after bishop g5. So they should have played that. They didn't. Dingley went for a draw. Okay, fair enough. Weird. I mean, you could just play for a win here, but hey. Okay. What can I say? Let's see MVL now. Let's see, but let me just turn off the engine. Right. Who's this? Oh yeah, Vincent and MVL. Hey, did they play what I said? Wait a minute. Yes. Yes, he did play knight g5, and boy, I did say about knight g5, and there you go. He did play it. And he comes with the knight e5. He didn't castle. Bishop b3. You still want to maintain that bishop hitting f7. And Jesus, what is this? Knight c6. f4, hitting the knight away, which is the defender, or f7. If you're wondering why is this, is because this guy is actually the defender of f7. So now that's getting really, really messy. I don't like very much blacks here. Okay, queen is being hit. Oh my God, Vincent. Oh my days, Vincent. Very bad boy, Vincent. Bishop checks the king. If knight takes, I'm going to take the bishop, I guess. If knight were to capture here, I could get the bishop. And I think it's crushingly advantageous for white. And queen takes, exactly. And knight takes. And you want to take with a pawn? Yes. Oh, sorry. Moves had been played already. Queen c8. Queen g3. You want to avoid trading queens here because it looks like the white queen is more flexible to attacking and creating threats. So you don't really want to trade queens. Queen d7, g6. g6, amongst others, it's not just if they take, you take and check. Which is, by the way, true. And they can't even block with f7 because you just win. So I mean, just explaining for everybody. Amongst other things, g6, if, say, black castles, I think prepares, I'm telling you before he plays it, I think it's a rook f7 coming. Which is serious. I think it's rook f7 coming. I think we're going to see a rook to a to c1. Hello there, Ariana. Thanks for stopping by. There you go. Didn't I say it? Rook f7. Queen goes away. They want to trade. Again, I don't know if I should trade or not. Maybe I want to go for a check. So I would suggest here for white to play a check. Maybe knight on h3 because it's going to be something ugly here. So queen g4, checking. And then you go with rook c1. And then you got a prospect of knight to c4. I think you got a few nice ideas for white here. Again, I think white is doing better. The problem for white is the passed pawn on d4. So that might be the thing you have to keep in mind. So the game is not quite finished. It looks like white is really taking initiative and attacking and stuff, which is true. But the game is not finished. Material is 336, 426. The same number of pawns. But there is a black pawn on the 4th rank. So, yeah. You might be able to buy a little bit of time. I mean, queen to g4, I like it because checks the king. King's got to move. And then you can take on g7 perhaps. Or maybe rook c1. All these moves that I've highlighted with the green paint, all these moves are very playable. Again, I don't think you want to trade, right? I don't think white wants to trade the queens here. Black wants to because it simplifies and it's happy to be normal queen because the queen is very much attacking. Would you go just saying queen b3 or something? I don't think it's that strong. I mean, getting the queen over to the queen side in this case might be more beneficial. You know what's the good stuff? They still have a lot of time here. So it's like 21 minutes for Vincent and 40 minutes for Black. Okay. Okay, I guess queen g4, queen b3 if I am to... I do not trade queens. I don't think white should trade queens here. I don't think white should trade any queen. I don't think so. So if you guys think differently, please feel free to type in the suggestion and let me know if you want to do something different. And if you see something that I'm missing, I'd be more than happy to listen to your thoughts. But I think these are the main ideas for white here, for Vincent Keimer. I don't think what else. I don't know what else. "20 minutes. And MVL is having double time. He's having 20 extra minutes. Those minutes matter so much. You know when they matter, especially when they go towards the end and the position is not necessarily easier or more simplified and you need to calculate a lot. You need to calculate a lot of things and then you need that extra time. So much you need it. So I guess Vincent needs to try to just move a bit faster. You gotta move a bit faster. Okay, so these are the main ideas. I think we're gonna come back to this game. We are going to see now Magnus Carlsen, Daniel Friedman, and let's see what happened in that game. Again, guys, for those of you that just opened the stream, Magnus Carlsen blundered the piece in the previous game. Believe it or not. He was with 13 seconds on the clock. So he had a very, very delicate position and he messed it up. All right, so exactly as I said, if you remember, guys, I said that black should take on b4. That's exactly what Magnus did. And obviously, you got to take back here. f4, knight c3. I did say that because you don't want to have the knight on the rim, really. You got to do something else because there is no prospects to do anything with the knight now, b6 or c5. You want to go c3. And potentially, you want to play knight e2, adding more pressure on the f4, respectively, e5 and so forth. So g5 solidifying. So the reason for this move is that if they take, you're going to take back with a pawn and having a very powerful pawn spear over there. g4, okay. g4, h5. He's relentless. I think if you really mean you play h3, which he did, takes and takes. And now I guess, guys, we're going to see something like king to f2. This guy's got to go, heck, I don't know, maybe b2, maybe d2, and then some rooks over here. And yeah. That might be also an idea at some point. But not before bishop d7 and then c6, maybe? Okay, there are many things black needs to think of. Not, oh my god, wait a second, whoa, knight g4. I've forgotten about this. Knight g4. Why did it do that? Oh my god, it's coming down with those pawns. Yeah, well, Magnus can do that. I think he's very upset about the blunder he did. And now he really wants to win against this guy. So knight takes g4. And Daniel Friedman didn't do nothing. Okay, let's let me tell you what I see. if f3 takes g4, we are going to see 100%, we're going to see bishop takes g4. What does that mean? That means that this guy is free to move, especially after bishop h5, that is. You're gonna push the other black pawn down the board. And queen wants to come to h4. And then this guy wants to go to g4 and f3. So it's very, very aggressive play by Magnus here. Again, you take, bishop takes, white takes g4, bishop takes g4. I don't know what white's gonna do, but what I do know that is Magnus wants to play bishop h5 or bishop d7 and then pushing this guy to g5 to g4 and then queen to h4. And I think this is a serious threat, especially after g3 and queen h2 checkmate, that is. So I think it's a very strong attack, and I think it's a correct sacrifice. I'm not sure if white thought about it, but definitely it's playable. It is definitely playable. Notice how the bishop on c1 is pretty much stuck. You can't go anywhere and you can't do nothing with that bishop. Whereas in this sacrificial tactic here, played by Magnus, he actually gave a knight for 2 pawns and incredibly attacking power on the king side. And these guys are coming down the board. So this is seriously, seriously threatening. I think black did a very sound sacrifice here. The question is Daniel supposed to take the knight? Because it looks incredibly scary to take the knight. And if you don't take the knight, though, what do you play? Can you play this? Very, very difficult position here. I think for black is relatively, I don't know how do I express this. I think for black is kind of simple to play this position. The plan is like obvious now. There is no other plan for black. There is no other plan. Then bishop take back if you take the knight, and then bishop h5, and then push the pawn. I don't think there's anything else for black at the minute. They got nothing. Now for white, on the other hand, you actually start thinking now, like me, what do I do? Do I do bishop h3? Do I take the black knight with the pawn? And if you take, you know what's coming. So, not very, very easy choices here for Daniel Friedman. Not very easy choices. I don't know. What would you play, guys? Would you take the knight or would you play bishop h3? King can't move, by the way. Or would you do none of these and instead playing bishop d2? It's painful to even consider bishop d2 at this stage, right? But given the fact you might be playing bishop e1, I don't know. Oh man, that's tough. What else can you play? So, I wouldn't want to have the white pieces here now because that looks alarming and concerning. Now, I don't know what I would do. I really don't know what I'll do here. I don't know. Bishop h3 probably? But that's awful, isn't it? It's awful because knight e3, which hits the rook and attacks your bishop with tempo. So that's a disaster. We can disregard bishop h3, boys and girls. We can't do bishop h3. Out of the question. It's out of the question. You can't do that. Nope. So I'm afraid, or how do I put it? I think you must take on g4 at this stage and be ready to sacking a piece when those guys are coming down. Because there is no other way. You gotta give the stuff back. It's just too much. It's just too much. White has to take the knight. Bishop's gonna take, and then you have a little bit of a moment to try to summon some ways to defending. So pawn takes, bishop takes, and then you gotta play king to f2. Just play it like this. You're up a piece. If necessary, you will be sacrificing another piece with the purpose of defending. Maybe you can create some counterattack with knight b, but it's not that really much of a threat, isn't it? They're just pushing this guy, you didn't do nothing. And then you go back. You waste the tempo. Ah, well, you know. Yeah, he did take. Didn't I say it? Didn't I say it? So, knight takes g4, f takes g4, bishop takes g4. And now, ladies and gents, bishop h3. Cool one. So he tries to water down the intensity of the attack. Bishop h3, if bishop takes queen, is going to take back, maintaining queen on an active position. Therefore, Magnus is going to play. You want to bet queen d7. If black's attack, if Magnus's attack fizzles out, he is going to be really, really upset about it. Really upset about it. You don't want to... Again, if you trade, if Magnus takes on h3, I think it's sort of going to lose. Because he's down in material. And this bishop must stay on the board. I guess you either play bishop d... You either play queen d7 to reinforce the battery, or you play bishop h5 being ready for g4, which I think is a bit more appealing for black. I definitely need more coffee. Okay, so... again... Okay, so he played queen d7. I did say that. I did say queen d7 or bishop h5. He did play that. Now... You could play king h2, can you? The bishop is pinned. They either take, which again works for white. Every trade when you have material advantage works for the player with more material. So if white is having one extra piece here, every single trade works for white. So then again, I really wonder if king h2 would be the stuff or take. If you take, you're going to get checked. And I don't liking it very much because after king goes... Yeah, I'm not sure about this. Can you run away a little bit like this? Yes, that's exactly what it did. That's exactly what it did. Again, guys, if this attack fizzles out, Magnus going to be in trouble and frustrated very much. I reckon rook wants to go on the g file. If there is another check, you're going to move away. You have to. I don't think you have a choice. The counter game for black would be this pawn coming down g5 to g4. That's the stuff. The game is not over. And as I said, white has to be prepared, in my understanding, to give some peace, to restore the balance, and to stop those that phalanx of black pawns coming down. So, if there is a check, you are forced to move towards e2, I guess. And then we're going to see g4. And that's going to be probably the most exciting game of today's round. Ladies and gents, that's probably the most exciting game this evening. Again, just reminding to those of you that came recently that Magnus Carlsen blundered a full piece on the first round. With 13, 14 seconds on the clock, he blundered a piece against Richard Rapport. So he's a little bit frustrated, and now he really wants to reassert its authority and goes for the attacking card. So, yeah. King f2. What is Magnus gonna play? I guess for black, you probably would agree, guys. I don't know if queen is supposed to check now on h4. Because the idea would be for black incredibly important to move g5 to g4. This is incredibly important. This is the plan. The bishop on g7 is not doing anything. I mean, the stuff they might be doing is just bishop f6. Okay, so he checks with tempo. That would allow him to push the pawn one more time after king goes away. Obviously, you can't block or anything. So king has to move. And then we're probably going to see g4. I think it's very, very likely. Guys, if you think differently, let me know. So I guess g5 to g4 is going to happen. And then I guess, yeah, no, absolutely. I was just wondering how exactly is he planning to getting some rooks somehow? Battery checking more, but if check with the queen is gonna, yeah, G, exactly. King E2 G4, didn't I say it? And probably you guys agree with me. That's the only way to play. And these guys are scary. I'm going to tell you very honestly. I think that's a very scary pawn formation here. This F4 and G4 is very scary because he's gonna push him more. He's gonna push more and more. And if G3, then you can play check because there is no rook. Because you're gonna take. So this is scary. Can you stop G3? Now I seriously start to think, I mean, it's desperation. You can't even do this, can you? So he moved the king one more time. He wants to go away so that he can get his pieces to try to stop those guys. And he sort of wants to put the king out of the checks and stuff. I think Magnus going to play G3 regardless. Right? I think. Unless he wants to do this. Or maybe this. And maybe rook G8. Difficult to say. Well, one of these three. One of these three candidate moves. What else? I don't think you need to you need to do nothing with the A, with the C. Okay, he pushes F3 first. F3. Okay. F3. Huh. Man is coming down very seriously. Okay. F3, amongst others, stops any knight. So there's no knight. Man is coming down with those pawns. That was a beautiful sacrificial tactic, and let me tell you something, psychologically it's enormous. I think it's a very sound sacrifice Magnus played anyway. So when he took knight takes g4 was a very, very sound sacrifice. Another king move by Daniel Friedman. Another king move. He played the king like 3 times. The last 3 moves, 27, 28, 29 moves, were king moves for white. The idea would be black can't push g3 because this guy's hanging. I guess you can't push it, right? And you might be able to provide some defense if there is a check or something. Bishop d2, also connecting the rooks and stuff. So you gotta push these guys carefully. Okay, f2. He's moving relatively fast because g3 is coming. But the knight can play though. Can't the knight play? Just asking for a friend. But there is a rook here. Oh boy, guys, did you see rook f3? Yeah, knight e2 would be stopping g3 for the time being, but after rook f3, I think you got a problem. I think after rook f3, white is having a problem. Where you move that queen? Unless you want to play bishop e3, which is absolutely painful. You cannot do that. So, there's a problem here. It is a problem for sure because of g3, because of rook f3, and I don't even know what's more scarier for white. Boy, and everything started with that move. Let me just find it on the list here. Move 22. Knight takes g4 sacrifice. That was the beginning of the end. I don't know the beginning of the end for white or black, but it looks like for black more than white. So that is cool. That is cool for sure. I love that last move that Magnus played, f2. I don't think I reasonably have a way to play here unless you want to move the king again, which would be the 5th move. Do you want to play king b3? But once you do king b3, if you do king b3, I think we are going to see g3 straight away and then g2, and I think it's game over because another queen will be popping up here immediately. So you have to play knight e2, then rook f3, then via con Dios, as they say. Because you have to play what? Queen d2 or something. Moving away. But then it's a little bit game over. Unless you're ready to sacrifice a knight for 2 pawns and stopping the whole thing here. This is very, very psychological. Oh boy. He didn't. He played queen e2. He played queen e2. So there is not the danger of the rook f3. So okay, so what the heck's going on here? If it's this, he's gonna play this. And if it's this, what do you do? I mean, really? You're gonna give a rook, pawn takes, bishop takes? Really? Well, I mean, it's very, very difficult as it is. I'm just trying to figure out how do you stop those guys. Okay, double attack. So g3, right? Am I wrong? Isn't it g3? Isn't it g3 here for black? I think it should be g3. I guess it's g3. Guys, would you play something else with black here? Is there something stronger than g3? G3 and you're doing very well. Is there any counter game that white can do? I'm not seeing it. And g3, then g2, and I don't know what is white supposed to play. Sorry, I think it's okay. g3, bishop e3, g2. Let's take it this way. Bishop takes. Rook f3 had been played now. I did say rook f3 for black previously, but I was referring specifically if the queen was on the third rank. Now, rook f3 had been played. I was expecting g3. We could ask Stockfish afterwards if actually g3 was playable previously rather than rook f3. Maybe I'm missing some ways for white to defend the position. It could be. It could be. I'm not sure. I don't think it's a bad one, rook f3, necessarily. I don't think it's a bad move. But now how are you going to push? Aha, you want to get the other rook, right? That pawn on a7 doesn't mean a damn thing. You want to get the other rook here and then push g3. And I think it's unstoppable. Everything is unstoppable. Wow. So if in the previous game Magnus had blundered the piece, in the following game he actually delivers a lesson in tactics. And sacrificial tactics, that is. So I guess rook f3 wants to double up the rooks on the f. And g3 is coming. And I do not see anything for white. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Out of desperation, this. And then this. Of course queen is going to go. Of course queen is going to go on the g file somewhere. Bishop e3, I did say that. I mean, there's nothing to do anyway. So there you go. I did say this moves. I said bishop e3. I did say rook a to f8. And I did say, I think, rook takes a7, but that doesn't matter. It's all or nothing, guys. It is all or nothing. g3. It's all or nothing. The c7 pawn doesn't matter. Nothing matters. What it matters is the g3, g2. There you go. g3, g2. There is nothing else for black to play. Okay, he tries to desperately. Guys, look at his craziness. If you take this guy, you're going to lose this rook. Even so, you could do it. You take the rook, they take on f3. Oh, you can't push the pawn. But you could do a check. No, you cannot. My God, this is so tactical and psychological. That's an annoying little move here. Rook A8. This is an annoying move. Can you push G2 regardless? No, because they're going to be taking you with the queen. You can't take because you're pinned. Okay, let's assume you push G2. Let's assume they take your rook. Let's assume I'm taking their rook here. But then they take this pawn. It's a bit annoying. And that shows, my friends, that shows how difficult, how complex chess is. And beautiful altogether. Altogether. Yes, it is complex, it is difficult. It is very strenuous mental activity, but also beautiful in its conceptual struggle. Also beautiful. So, really, that's let's put it this way. This is the puzzle of the day. What do you play here with black if you were Magnus Carlsen? And I have to say kudos to Daniel Friedman for having found this resource. Really, this is something. This really is something. It's still one piece up, but those 2 pawns probably they must be maintained by black and converted, promoted. So Magnus is going to fume if he drops this game again after the first blunder in the previous match. I actually question Rook F3 that he played it. I think it wasn't maybe necessary. Maybe G3 had to be pushed, then doubling up of the rooks. The reason he's thinking now is because he's not very happy with this development. He's not happy with that black rook on F8 being pinned. Guys, I got another crazy idea. What if the rook were to take on E3? It's a crazy thought, but actually, if it forces queen to capture, therefore G2 is playable. What do you think about this new sacrificial tactic, guys? What do you think about rook takes E3? You don't do nothing about a white rook, by the way, so forget about that one. You're just going to take the bishop, deflecting the queen away from a potential guarding of the G2. So rook takes E3, queen takes G2. Can I do that? Genuine question. I mean, I'm seriously asking. Do you know something? Rook E3, queen takes. Rook takes. You don't even rush it. You don't rush it just yet, because I think this is incredibly strong as well. I mean, Magnus is having like 20 minutes on the clock now. I think you can afford to actually give it a few more minutes. You know, just get a coffee, get a energy drink, and just think about this one a bit more. Is rook E3 playable? Is this move valid? Is this correct? Rook E3. That would be something for sure. Rook E3, white can take on F8. Check. Bishop takes, not king, bishop. Then queen takes E3. Then you push G2. And that's it. That is black's winning, right? Because I'm going to get a queen. That's the actual reason. I'm just going to get a queen. So rook takes E3 is worth all the attention. I think Magnus going to find it. Or maybe he found something else. But what else is here? G2. Rook takes check. Bishop takes. Queen takes. Okay, two main ideas. Let me just erase all the paint. Two main ideas. G2 or rook e3. I think you need to narrow down the investigation. Okay, there is also rook takes a8, but no, because queen's going to take your rook. It's not going to work. It's ridiculous. No, it's either rook e3 or g2. Let me look at g2 again. So g2 goes for queening. That's it. Rook takes f8. Check. Bishop takes f8. That's very good as well. I wonder which one is the best line here. I'm going to inquire with Stockfish at some point, but for now, I think they both okay. Which one is better though, g2 or rook takes e3? So one of these two must be the best move here, and I wonder which one might be. Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. Hello to you too. Hello to you too. Hello is like 22 rapid on Chess.com and 2100 lichess, and Blitz is 2000 or 2100 going up and down every day. So he opts for rook takes. He opts for rook takes. Rook takes a8. Queen takes. Okay. That means g2? No, you can't do this because queen takes. But you attack the rook. That is true as well. Where does the rook go? Well, let's assume rook goes b1. Let's assume rook goes b1. I'm not playing Magnus just yet. Maybe I will. On one of my future streams, I do not play Magnus. Is Daniel Friedman playing Magnus, which is a grandmaster from Germany. They doing that tournament, GRENKE Open, the second round being today. And it's a very exciting ending in which really I had very many questions to the move that was supposed to be played by Black. And I'm very curious. I'm gonna check with Stockfish after the. Yeah, very likely he was going to do me if that was a real game. Lord of the Flies, Lord of the Crumbs. So yeah. So, but you never know. Maybe in the future we're gonna have a exhibition match in which he's gonna do me every single time because I don't think I stand a chance in this lifetime. So, Rook's being attacked. Rook must move. It must move. Let's consider b1. Let's just consider b1. What's the plan for Black? How exactly you're gonna do it? You're gonna do it with f1, queen. It's not working. Look, I think after rook b1, he wants to get the rook back here, hitting the queen and then pushing g2. Okay, I think I have found the sequence. I think. If I'm wrong, or if you got a different approach, please feel free to type it in. So I guess white rook has to go. Can the queen go here though? Sorry, can the rook play h1? It's very complicated. Rook h1. You attack the queen, right? You attack the queen. What do you play? Rook f8? Rook takes and attacks your bishop. I think that's the plan. So if I'm correct, guys, rook b1 would be very mild because that allows black to play rook f8, attacking the queen, thus pushing queen on the back, and then you can just successfully push g2. If they play rook h1 attacking the black queen, you're going to be responding straight away with rook f8. If rook takes, you're going to take, and the two black pawns connected, gonna win the game. That's it. So I think that's the plan here for black to play. If you see something else, tell me, guys. Just tell me if you see something else. Where does the white rook go? And what do they do? Is this guy gonna resign now? Because I don't see what else you could do. Can you do rook takes f2, asking for a friend? Can you do rook f2? Rook f2, rook f8. There's something. Queen takes, bishop takes, rook takes. No, you're done. You finished. With white, that is. So rook f2 cannot work. Can you do... What else can you possibly do? No, you can only play rook h1, but it doesn't look very optimistic for white. Okay, I think that this game will be concluding shortly, guys. I don't see any other resources for white. And rook f8 cannot be stopped. There is no other check. There is no other bluff. There is no other complication that may happen. And that was it. Rook f8 is unstoppable. Therefore, g2 will be pushed after white queen goes away from the third rank. So rook f8, queen is forced to go. Whatever you want to push it, it will make a bit of a difference after g2. And that's it. Rook can't take on f2 really because of the same rook f8. And you're just losing. And that was it. And very nice, again, very nice sacrifice move number 22. Knight takes g4 by Magnus. I think Daniel didn't really expect that move. Hey, this is painful to play, all right? This is painful to play. Rook g1. Oh, Dios, man. Rook h1. Just offering the rook as it is. Rook g1. What did he play? Whoa. Rook... No, sorry, what the heck did it happen? Let me just refresh the page because it's not clear. Apologies for this. Whoa, they move very fast here. So rook h1 actually. Sorry, guys. Rook h1. Rook f8. I did say it. The guy takes. I did say this sequence. Bishop takes. Queen takes. Check. And... Wait a second. He got to resign because g2. That's it. g2. Sorry, is there something else here? I'm not seeing it. Okay, so I was right about that one. Rook h1, rook f8, rook takes. And now we came to this point that I think g2 is unstoppable. That was it. White should resign after g2. Sorry, am I missing something here? What's going on? Why can't you do g2? It's black's turn, right? g2 is the finisher, is the killer move. Guys, does it show something else on your screens? I mean, in case you... So, g2 and black is winning? Yeah, that's exactly... You came right at the best opportunity here. Magnus Carlsen just plays a game now against the GM from Germany, and he played a very interesting sacrifice on move number 22. And now I guess he's supposed to push the g2, and I wonder if I'm missing something. I really wonder what's going on here with Black's next move, with Magnus' next move. What's wrong with g2? Hmm. Um, I think that should be the next move. Hello there, Tech. Thanks for stopping by. I'm really curious. What's he thinking? Why not G2 straight away? What am I missing? What's going on here? Uh, had another move being played? No, king was in check. King c2 to b3. I don't see anything else up my end. Looks like it is black's turn. And the bigger question is, why doesn't he push g2 or what's going on here? That's weird. I'm gonna refresh the page because this is very awkward. Oh, so he did play g2. He did play g2. And now rooks goes behind the pawn, that is. Can we play? No, we can't because we pinned. So we gotta do king f7, then bishop h6, and this. But then we're gonna have this. King f7, exactly as I said. And guys, do you want to bet on knight d1? Because I think that's exactly what's gonna happen. But it's not good because check. And if they take... Oh my god. No, you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't deflect the rook because it's check from the rook, that is. So you're not gonna do it. After knight d1, you can't play check. You can't play check. So if knight d1... Oops, if knight d1, maybe you can play rook f1. No, because then they're going to play this, attacking your rook and your pawn. Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything is important about that g2 pawn. For black, this pawn is very important, but it is white's turn, and I guess knight d1 is going to happen. Yeah, yes, young blood. I think g3 was the main idea that made Magnus think, but you didn't have anything else, I guess, better than this. You may want to move the king too, but after knight d1, you have to play the rook. And probably you have to move here. That is e2. You have to. And then if you're having time, maybe h6, maybe f4, targeting the rook. He's trying to, because he wants to create a pass upon here. But I guess the black king is close enough to be stopping them all. I guess. So probably you may want to investigate bishop h6, bishop f4. Or you want to move the king out of the potential check after knight d1, which would ensure you get yourself a queen. So that's another aspect. But if you play this, they're going to take your bishop and you're going to lose. Therefore, bishop h6 first, or maybe bishop f6. Very complicated. Hello, Athens. I'm doing fine. My chess stream now, staying for a couple more minutes until these guys finish up their games. Discussing with a few friends on YouTube, also chess enthusiasts. What do you do with black? You play bishop h6, you play bishop f6. What do you play? Can you play though bishop f6? Okay, let me think about this one. Bishop f6, because if knight d2, then I can play check. Yeah, I think that's probably the right way. All right, guys, I think bishop f6 is the correct move. I think it's bishop f6. If knight d2, then sacrifice rook f3. Because if rook takes, I'm going to get myself a queen, and then I'm going to win. And yeah, bishop f6, I guess. So that's an indirect way to defend against knight d2. I hope that's correct. My favorite game is chess, but I also played a lot of Rome Total War and Age of Empires 2, 3, 4. So bishop f6, I guess that's my candidate move. I don't think bishop h6, although it has some virtues, but bishop f6 is the natural defense against knight d1, rook f3. Yes, so I'm not buying anything else. I'm not buying nothing, Athena. If you want to sell something, I'm not buying. Right. Bishop h6, Keita. Thanks for your idea. Bishop h6 doesn't help me after knight d1. So okay, he played bishop f8. The idea, I guess, is if they take, gonna take. Sorry, what's the thing with bishop f8, guys? I thought bishop f6 was supposed to be a nice way to allowing after knight d2, rook f3. Okay. Youngblood, I think it makes sense, but bishop f8 is very, very unexpected. Well, you know, we are just normal chess players. We are not super grandmasters, but still, I just try to figure out the heck that bishop on f8 is doing. I mean, really. It's a genuine question. Really, guys. Bishop f8 is... what on earth is this bishop doing here? Actually. I mean, you give up. Blocking the king from a check. And you move the bishop here. I mean, even bishop h6 might have been a bit more enticing and stuff. It's very surprising. It's very surprising. Well, it is surprising. I'm not sure if the best, but we're going to find out anyway. Okay, 13 minutes for black, 10 minutes for... 13 minutes for white, sorry. And 10 minutes for Magnus here. That doesn't mean anything as of now. I don't think that's very important now. It could be. It could be. It could be. It could be a way of like playing like, let's see what you got. Let's see what you come up with. It could be. Young blood. So guys, I'm not buying any frames, any templates, any nothing. Emilio. Right, so this guy takes, this guy takes. I guess you gotta take with a pawn, not with a bishop. That would be way too shocking. That would be way too shocking. So if this guy takes, you gotta take with the pawn, right? It doesn't make any sense to take with a bishop. I don't understand nothing if that's gonna happen, which I doubt. Which I seriously doubt. But yeah, I think Youngblood said that, yeah, I mean, bishop f8 wants to say, I ain't do nothing, you do whatever you want to do. Let's see what you do. Probably in terms of this. Let's put it in an informal fashion. Probably means play whatever you want. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is. On the other hand, if they take and you take, you're helping white to create a passer. So if I am to reconsider taking the pawn and then taking with the bishop, might be reasonable. Although the bishop becomes a big pawn and the bishop becomes slightly non-existent. Can I say that? So if the pawn takes and you take with a bishop in order to keep the c7 to oppose the b pawn coming down the board or up the board, depends how you're looking at it, this bishop becomes a very big pawn here. Is this playable? It is playable, but it's painful. You would like the bishop to have it free. So, Youngblood, I think it could be because he wants to take with a bishop. And he wants to keep the c pawn to stop the b pawn coming down. It could be. Believe it or not, it could be. I don't think he's chilling at this stage, Magnus. Magnus blundered the full piece on the previous game. I don't think he's chilling too much. I think he's a bit frustrating and actually he's slightly concerned. He wants to win. Of course he wants to win. That's a truism. He wants to win, and he's really he's really invested here emotionally, like the other guy too. Youngblood, yeah, I think that's the reason behind Bishop F8. It's not a formidable, it's not a spectacular move. It's actually a painfully defensive move, Youngblood. It's a defensive move. But I guess you want to keep the C pawn, which, yeah, I mean, what can I say? It's just that's. Given the fact the white rook has to stay on the G file all the time, because if you don't, I'm going to queen. So, given this idea, okay. Okay. It's not quite over. I think it's very instructive. This little game we're seeing, guys, I think it's very instructive. Very, very instructive. And yeah, more coffee would have been needed. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. Whose turn is? Daniel's turn? He didn't move nothing. And this guy's thinking. What is he thinking? And I can see Vincent in a minute and MVL 15 minutes. Okay, let's have a quick look at that guy. Apologies for... I really want to see what's going on with this guys here. I didn't visit... I mean, last time I visited was like 15 minutes ago, this game. Vincent is white and he had a very strong attacking position. 2-3-5 versus 3-1-4. He's got one extra pawn majority on the king side, one passer here. I think white should be winning. The problem for white is that he's got 1 minute 52 and MVL is 14 minutes. And there is some stuff MVL has to, Vincent has to factor in. There is a, so now he took the pawn. So rook has got to take, right? What? Sorry. Oh, check. This is a check move. Ah! You just won. You just won. That's it. Okay, this guy's going to take, then king's going to go towards that guy. This guy's hanging. Knight takes. Back and attack b6. How crazy that is. Check, you have to move the king. Where do you move the king? You move the king on e3. On f3. Okay. Knight's going to take. Knight's going to take on c7. And then knight's going to go here to attack this guy. And you're going to go here. And still looks like white is doing its one step faster. Let's see though. The problem for Vincent, 2 minutes is a problem. So they get 10 seconds increment after each move they play, people. It's 45 minutes format and 10 seconds increment. 10 seconds increment. Knight c4, knight b5, defending this guy. Okay. I guess the king wants to fix this weakness and to marching down with this guys. That's broadly put. I think white should be winning. I think white is better here. It's a crashing pawn majority on the king side. 2 extra pawns for white. So white should be winning. I think you gotta move the king and just push your guy, or maybe play g4 now. Just keep the status quo here on the queen side. Don't do nothing. Leave the knight here, defending this guy. Pawn can't move. Knight can do nothing. Just move the g4 pawn. Move the g4. Try to create another passer here, and they won't be able to stop 2 pawns at the same time. So I guess that's the thing. Yeah, as soon as you make a move, when you press the clock, you get automatically 10 seconds with every single move you play, Youngblood. Okay, king f4. We did mention this. We did mention king f4. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, Youngblood and the other friends, if it's the first time you guys coming. So you could, you know on the next stream when I go live, and maybe we can analyze some of your games and maybe do some puzzles. Maybe we could do something like this. So we can meet up again, my friends. So king f4, I did say. I guess g4 would have been playable too. The plan would be for white to push. They take, you take, and you have free pawn passer on the h, passer on the e, and with the king's help, you should be able to get one of those guys successfully at the end. Yep, thanks to Youngblood. That's cool. So that's how I see this game. I guess white is better. I guess white should be better. Yeah. Because of 1, 2, 3, and versus 1. I think the white knight stays ideally positioned, defending this guy, stopping this guy, ideal blocker, and this guy can't move anywhere. Therefore, the king has the total freedom to support those white pawns. g4, h5. You may want to keep the king on f4 for now, guarding e5, guarding e3. So Magnus is moving. Ooh, let's go and see Magnus again. Hey, bishop h6. We did say that, didn't we, Youngblood? We did say this. Bishop h6. Okay, let me just go just slightly back a bit. So bishop f8, king c4, bishop h6. Blimey. He's messing around. What's... Okay. Oh, we did say bishop f4 at some point. I did say it like 10 minutes ago. Was it 10 or 5? Well, it doesn't matter. Time is psychological when you do chess. 5 minutes can feel an eternity. When you're running out of time, even if you have 20 minutes, it's like 20 seconds. You see, so in chess, time is very, very much psychological, but this is very dangerous now. Ooh, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You gotta be very careful about that thing. Really careful. Must you take... If you take, mind you guys, if you... Oops, that didn't happen, did it? If you take, king's gonna take, and this guy is seriously hanging. But that's not what he played. I made a mouse slip. Apologies. He didn't take, and you shouldn't take. So I don't think Magnus should take. By the way, so again, guys, for those of you that just tuned in now, Magnus blundered the full piece in the previous game. And now he played the sacrifice on move 22. He gave a knight for 2 pawns. And this is the position. He got a very advanced pawn on the second rank, ready to promote. But as long as the rook stays here, you can't do this. Maybe you can do rook c2 and bishop d2. Maybe. I mean, maybe. Yeah, that's something. Bishop e3, sure. Bishop e3. I think it's very good. Bishop e3, frankly. Yeah, yeah. Kudos to you, Youngblood. I think Bishop e3 is very good. Is really good. Obviously, white is not going to take. That would be a deflection of the rook so that you can promote. So I seriously doubt Daniel Friedman is going to take the bishop on e3. But bishop on e3 also allows, after, say, rook c2, I've just given an example, it allows probably pushing off the pawn and thus winning the game, so to speak. So bishop e3, I think it's a very, very, very good choice here. If not the best choice for black. If not the best choice for black. I think it makes a lot of sense. There is one little idea. We got to think about knight d2. Bishop e3, knight d2. But then you can play check. Then they can attack you, mind you. And then you could get a queen. And then rook takes. Then bishop takes. And then king takes. Are you sure it's over? Doesn't look very over to me. It doesn't. So I think bishop e3 is definitely worth investigating, Youngblood. But it's not that easy because of the fork and because the king coming down. And because of the b6. If you mess it up here, white's winning. Because of the b6 move, which is incredibly dangerous for black. Very dangerous for black. So you better move the king if you think, but you gotta move it now if you wanna step into the promotion square. So really, there's a lot of Magnus's plate. What did he play? Oh boy, he took on c5. Jesus Christ. Ah, okay. Rook b2 to stopping. So white pushed the pawn to clear the way for the b file. I wonder if king takes would have been better than this. I wonder if this maybe would have been better, hey? But then this. But then king comes here. It's not a big deal, right? Okay, I think people are prone to making mistakes in the last minutes. And the rook b2. Rook b2, and there could be stuff here. I'm not sure anymore. He goes further, further, and further. If you take this guy, okay, it's not over yet. He's gonna push, deflecting rook away, so he can take this passed pawn. That's not gonna happen, but then black is having 3 pawns. And then again, it's doing better. So black's doing better after this. b7, that doesn't mean nothing. You could take the pawn. Or you could do, what, bishop e3? Bishop e3, I think you could do. I think you could do bishop e3. Queen. And then you have to think, bloody hell, do you... No, you have to take. Then they take, then you take queen. Oh my god, is bishop e3 here? Is bishop e3 here again? Ooh, is it bishop e3? Queen takes. Queen. You take the queen, I'm taking your rook. Okay, bishop and king and 3 pawns versus knight and king and 1 pawn. Again, looks like black should win at some point. I don't know when. At some point. So, yeah, guys, feel free to tell me, is bishop e3 the correct approach here? Well, you could take the pawn if you want. Then they take your guy. Then you can play check. Oops, that's not... Did you do that, actually? Apologies. Yes, he did do. Magnus did play rook b4 check. Okay. A check is not negotiable. King must move. And there is only one move. Well, there is 2. You could actually go on d5. But do you want to go in the wolf's den? No, you don't. So, that's a check. King has to go. Either d3 or d5. d5, exactly. If the black king was here, we would have had a checkmate. So now Magnus goes very positional. Rook takes b. The other rook's going to take. You want to bet? That's exactly what you're going to do. Rook takes g2. So if you look overall, guys, this bishop would love to arrive on d4. And that's going to stay there forever. The bishop is going to stay there forever. Bishop e3, bishop d4. You do not touch that structure. Ever. And... yeah. And then this guy comes somewhere. I don't know where and how. But you got to be careful. Obviously not now. But the idea is, you know. Okay. Rook defends here. Rook defends the d6 pawn. And probably then you could try and play this. Yeah. 3 pawns versus 1 pawn. Very instructive, but I guess now black is just doing better from a material point of view. You've got a pawn majority on the queen side. And as soon as stabilizes, Magnus is on 5 minutes, the other guy is on 4 minutes. Pretty much equal time-wise. I guess you could just secure the bishop, get the bishop on d4, keep it there for now. You should be fine. You have then the... well, you got to be careful about this pawn, though. So if you want to move the rook, if you want to move the black rook to attack something, you got to make sure the d6 is protected, which is constantly attacked. With 2 extra pawns. You say Magnus is losing with 3 extra pawns, with 2 extra pawns. Okay. I know d6 had to be... d6 must be defended. But seriously, with the 2 extra pawns and a very active bishop, do you think that black is losing now? Yeah, there is d6 under pressure. I agree. But I don't see exactly on what you're basing your statement that black's losing. I'm not sure. But I'm happy to read your thoughts if you want to type in the few ideas that led you to this conclusion. So this knight might be harassing further the black rook like this. Well, black rook can go places. Well, not this, not now. So probably king first to defend e6 and then? Maybe. Maybe. So the bishop can play e3 and d4, king d6. White knight can play a4, attacking the rook. But where else do you go afterwards? Well, you can go b2, you could go c3 back if necessary. You would want the knight to attack d6 twice. You would want, if you were white here, you probably would want to attack the bishop, try check the king, try to see if you can attack twice the d6 pawn. I think this is important for white. How exactly you're gonna do it? Maybe like this, maybe like this. Could be something. Maybe. And then maybe knight a4. There is a bunch of maybes here. No, that's round number 2 for today, Youngblood. Tomorrow they're gonna be doing 2 more rounds. The same 6 players. Is a double round robin, so they're gonna be playing twice with white and black, the same person. So tomorrow they're gonna do it again, and you guys can watch it on lichess or chess.com or any other chess platforms. I don't know what other chess platform. Chess24 is shut down now. So you have, and probably you can go chess base or something. So tomorrow gonna be the second round. The format is 45 minutes and 10 seconds increment per move, starting with move number 1. It's a compromise in between rapid and classical, so that Magnus doesn't fall asleep during the game, which I think he doesn't. And yeah, that's interesting. So did they move anything, by the way? Oh, they did. Whoa. Let me see. Wait a second. Rook A2. Yes. Rook A2. Yep, that makes sense. Exactly as I said. Rook A2. Rook to B3. Yeah, because it attacks with tempo, so you can't take the pawn because I'm gonna take your piece. Rook checks the king. The check is not negotiable. Ooh, now Magnus has to think again. This is not quite over. It's not quite over. King is in check. Knight is on pre. It's not an easy ending. It's just not. This guy is hanging. So they could be captured, but then you're gonna drop this guy. So probably knight has to be moved before you do anything else. So what do you do? Do you go here? Do you go here? Do you go A2? Do you go A4? Do you go what? D1? Do you go E2? And then where? You could potentially maybe E2, G3, F5. It's going to take like a billion years or something. I mean, yeah, that's very time consuming. This is very time consuming. Finding the right spot for your pieces. So check again. So what did happen actually with that knight? Sorry, the king moved back, defending the knight and attacking the rook. Rook checks now, you have to move again, and king goes back. Are they going to draw now? I mean, are you tempted to do again this kind of stuff? Because I guess from white's point of view, I think Daniel Friedman would be more than happy to draw against Magnus. The question is if Magnus really want to do this. He's got to check as well. That's a hell of a check here, because then the king has to go away, and you're defending d6 again. And maybe you're able to attack this guy a little bit, the bishop on c3, after you play bishop d2, maybe. Then the knight plays on e2, and they attack your rook. Ain't that annoying? There's a lot of things to factor in. Very many things. Maybe this, maybe that. Okay, he plays it right now, folks. The king can't help it. The king can't help because it's being cut off by the rook. You take my guy, I'm going to take your piece, and you just lose at that stage. So where is the knight going? Knight goes e2, but you can't check the king because there is a knight here, and this guy is still on prey. You're going to drop the rook on b6? What else can you play? Wow. Very instructive game, my friends. I think it's very instructive. And it's a very good way to improve the thought processes in the chess. Because you actually try to play the same stuff like a super GM. Sometimes you manage to see the same stuff. Many times you don't, but it's still very beneficial, I think, for everybody. And don't use the engine whilst you're watching the game because it's going to be making you a little bit like a lazy thinker. The engine is going to feed you all the time, all the stuff, and you're not making a bit of an effort, and you're not learning anything. You're not improving, you're not learning. So I'd recommend just watch the live game, no engine. Do the engine at the end when the situation is, you needed to clarify something complicated or... but during the live game, I think best would be not using the engine when the game takes place. So, rook to b3. Now, if white takes this guy, what? Oh, he wants to play rook e3. He wants to play rook e3. Right? So that he can take this guy and create a passer here. Maybe that's the plan. Mind you, guys, Magnus is on 1 minute. Just to remind you, the previous game, he blundered when he had 14 seconds. Magnus blundered the previous game. So the lower the time gets, the bigger the chances for them to mess up. So just to telling you, it's incredibly important, the time. Time is very important. So I guess that's Magnus's plan now. I bet he would be so happy to have some extra time, but he said it so many times he can't play classical because he dies of boredom. So now there you go. Now he got to play under 1 minute. A complicated position, I might say. It's not that smooth, that easy. It is not. And because he dies of boredom, now he plays this format, in which it proves that 45 minutes still not kind of enough. It's not enough because games are very strong, very tough games, and the other guys are very good too. And even if you have a winning position on the paper, capitalizing is never easy. It's never easy to capitalize, you see? It's a lot of thinking to be done. And yeah. Oh, no, that's not what happened. Apologies. Let me go back. So rook b3, last move that been played here. And white to move. So Daniel goes now on the 50 seconds. Again, reminding you guys, you get 10 seconds after you play a move. So let's see what he plays. I guess that's the plan with rook b3. I was really wondering what the heck is the intention with rook b3. But I guess if king were to take d6, black want to play this. Now Daniel actually hits the bishop. So probably you have to play. Now that's a hell of an outpost for the bishop. You cannot touch that bishop. And even if you touch it, there is always a defender. So very solid. And there is another trickstery here, guys. If king were to take d6, I'm moving this guy down with tempo, checking your king. So that's another subtlety you have to be mindful of. So bishop to b4. Bishop to b4, it's not just moving away from the rook's attack, which is true, but also means, yeah, it could have been also pawn coming down, but Magnus goes for this, because if you wonder why, that's what Magnus is going to play next. He's going to play rook d2. He's going to play rook d2, and you're going to trade the whole stuff. And now Magnus is going to win. He's going to go f4. He's going to get this guy off the board. So Magnus wants to do rook d2, rook takes, this guy takes, you take. Is he doing? Is he doing this? No, you can't do this. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. You can't do it. You can't do it. Not just yet. You do rook e3. No. King g4. He moves closer. He wants to move king f3. Rook is under threat, though. Well, you do rook e3, right? 1 minute for Magnus, 20 seconds for the other guy. They play under bullet. Sorry, they play bullet conditions now. Game. Rook d1. Rook d1. Do you play this? King f3. Attacking e4. Pressure on e2 knight. That's a lot of pressure. So I guess rook e1. After knight move, but where does the knight move? I mean, where does the knight move? c1, okay. Can we take this guy now? Can we take it, really? Is there a problem if we take this guy? Because now feels like the right time to just grabbing that pawn. King takes c4, rook e2, and king f3. No, 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 not f3, sorry. King f5 or king f4 something. But probably you gotta take this guy. Yes, of course you do. King takes c4, knight b3. That doesn't mean nothing, right? You're just gonna play something like this, can you? So that you can push this pawn down the board. And step by step, you just try to push that guy, and that would be it. The bishop protects the promotion square, and I think it's as strong as it gets. Okay, yeah, black is winning, actually. Well, I think black's been winning from move number 22. But it could be some ups and downs in terms of the engine evaluation. But I think, yeah, since move 22 when Magnus sacrificed a piece for 2 pawns, and now he's got just 2 extra pawns, I think you should be winning here. I think you're winning even if you trade. Yes, he simplifies. The lesson would be when you have material advantage, simplify. You're gonna try and do this. Is there something that might stop you? King f3, knight has to move, and then you push e4, e3, e2, e1. And that's very good. And it looks like that's how Magnus is going to win this game. Very tough game. Exactly, exactly. King f3, knight g1 check. I think you should push this guy, right? Or you do something else, or you do f2. Yeah, f2, f2. So you don't want to get checked again and repeating stuff. The king might play here, though. The king might play d3. No, he played knight c1. The pawn's coming down. I mean, that's the only plan for black, right? That is the only plan. So e4, e3, e2, e1. Probably Daniel's going to resign any second now. I think now you can resign with white, really. I think you can resign with white now. Okay. King f1. They moved it fast. That's why the board didn't update the last 2 moves. But that's what we got on the screen now. Come on, this guy should resign. Yeah, he just resigned. Yeah, you can't stop e2 and e1. Guys, just very briefly, let me go to move 22. So that was 68 crazy moves. Nice, very nice game. 22. If you wonder, this is the moment when Magnus decided to play the sacrifice, guys. Look at the Valbar, 0.0. And now Magnus plays the sacrifice, which I think is sound. Knight g4. The engine says it's still 0.0, but it doesn't say it's a blunder or anything. But I'm telling you something, psychologically, this is huge. And the other guy spent a lot of time thinking what to play here. It's a very difficult position, and the only way to playing this is just f takes g4, which, as we had seen, it was an incredibly difficult game. Very difficult ending. So that was the move Magnus played, move 22, knight takes g4. And the rest is history in the archive. Okay, a very long game, 68 moves, a lot of game. And fabulous stuff, really. Wow. Guys, thank you very much for being here, fellas. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel that I'm streaming quite often, and maybe to my Twitch channel, which is the same, Soren Chess Coach. And I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow, maybe with the other 2 rounds of the GRENKE Open Classical. What name they gave it? Yeah, something like this. GRENKE 2024. Thanks very much, ladies and gents. Check my last video. And we'll see you very shortly. Tomorrow, I reckon. I'll be returning for the other round. Thanks, guys. Have a nice day, a nice evening, wherever you are. And see you very soon.